Okay, finally, it is complete. It's about life, about living, most of all about love, about the past, about the future, about the Lord up above, about sex, about drugs, about rock and roll, about expansion of potential to reach one's goal, about regret, about embrace, about the healthy, the sick, about lewd, corrupt behavior that unfortunately exists, about the forest and the trees, about the birds and the bees, about Adam and Eve, and yes, Adam and Steve, about lust, about greed, about unwanted seed, about apology after apology, about want over need, about in God we trust, handicap sign on the bus, about the rich, I mean the powerless, and the rest of us, about about beer, about fear, about heroin and cocaine, about one God, how many religions? This world is insane. About kids having kids, about music videos, about actors, about athletes, about legal hoes, about bridging the gap, about silver, copper, and green, about black, about white, and the red in between, about memories of the past, about what fades, what lasts, about technological enhancements, we're moving way too fast, about in, about out, about up and down, about smiles on faces turned upside down, about me, myself, and I, about the tears I cry, not about if or when, but how I eventually die. It's simply reaching in the abyss and all it entails. This book is about living life, mine completely unveiled. And that's that. That is a poem entitled, Finally, It's Complete. And it speaks of the book, An American Under Attack, in which descriptions to that I can give, definitely. I will give descriptions to that. But the book itself speaks for itself. And being the author of such, I am compelled to tell you what the book is about. Well, just listen to Finally It's Complete and you'll know exactly what it's about. Now, there were some baffling concepts within, for me, if I heard it for the first time, the poem, inside this poem, like when I talk about the legal hose thing. Well, that's because people often prostitute themselves to their desires. In other words, they will give up their morals and their values in order to obtain material possessions that are of a temporary nature. All things are of temporary nature. You know, that kind of thing. Then, the handicap sign on the bus, when I said, about in God we trust, and then I said, handicap sign on the bus. Well, that one I'll do that poem. I'll do that poem in the segment after this, because the next poem that I want to do is called The Abyss. Okay? It's called The Abyss. And the reason why I'm doing that next is because in the latter end of this poem, I said, not about if or when, but how I eventually die. It's simply reaching in the abyss and all it entails. This book is about living life, mine completely unveiled. So, reaching in the abyss. Let me give you a poem called The Abyss. This is on the next segment.